Basically, my wish for the label is what I always wanted to have is like independent label that appealed to musicians so they don't want to be on the label.
Right.
Where they could be experimental and uncensored. And then maybe like 30 or 40 years from now, maybe there'd be some like record collector guy that'd be like, hey, there was this label, you know, back in the 20th century.
Right, totally.
That did all this weird stuff, and I want to collect all the records. So it's like the point of the label is not to be a gigantic commercial success, even though we do make money.
Right.
It's more like, I have all these friends in bands over the years that were like, you know, our stuff was censored or this or that or the other. So now it's like, it's our attempt to actually go, okay, like put your money where your mouth is. Like, you can put out any kind of record you want to. Are you going to rise to the occasion or not?
I've known Frank for a long time before he was doing a record label, and when he started doing it, he just asked if we ever wanted to do anything, and started this band and asked him if he wanted to put a record out, and he's like, sure. So it's kind of been a relationship with him, you know, just like, you know, handshake, no contract type of deal, and we can do whatever we want, and you know, Frank's into it. So
we split our profits 50-50 with bands, which is, I think, above and beyond like the coolest thing that we do for our bands. We don't sign bands to contracts. We do one-off deals. So we offer bands an opportunity to put something out on a label that has a fair amount of success, but it doesn't tie them down to something. So if a bigger label or another indie label comes along, they're absolutely free to do that, and we actually encourage it because we figure the more stuff a band has out, the better for them and the better for us, and you know, it's good all the way around.
Here's like, you know, a guy like Eddie Glass and a guy like me just playing music, and the only buddy who has enough fucking common sense to release some decent fucking music is a label like Man's Ruin.
Right.
Frank Kozik and Lydia and everybody who works out there. It's a good fucking thing, and you can't fucking go wrong with it, so
Yeah.
there you go.
You feel comfortable and happy?
If all my releases came out on Man's Ruin for the rest of my life, I'd be a happy man.
Now
far as his artwork goes, if anybody seen any of Frank's work, they'd be a fucking jack off not to fucking wanna get involved in something like that. It'd be a fucking jack off.
He did the album cover for us, and we never once worried about like if the cover was gonna suck, you know, because pretty confident in his art, everything I've seen by him.
That's pretty cool because usually like me, Mark, and Eddie, we are totally into that aspect of putting out a record is doing the artwork, and this time we didn't have to. It was pretty easy. It's a rock and roll revolution.
So what did you guys do in LA today?
We went to the Hustler store, which was, it's kind of a glossy porn shop as opposed to.
But
like,
I bought the best
doll. Yeah, tell me about the doll.
I got the white trash trailer trash doll. My daddy says I'm the best kisser in the county.
Yeah, it's
That's what
pretty
she
nasty.
says.
And they had a lot of blow-up dolls, and they had a couple things like the vibrating panties were kind of cool, and they had like
They
some
were like $30, man.
They had
Fujitsu.
They had some impressive
9,000.
dildos with a full ball sack, which is always nice. Man's Ruin put out one record for us, and that's kind of, that's what Man's Ruin does. Sometimes they'll put out one record for a band, which is totally cool.
Frank has set a standard for musicians that just want to play, have a good time, put out records, and it's just a real basic it's the way music should be as far as the artistic freedom and just the simple business of it. It's just real basic.
Yeah.
Just simple handshakes and put out records, and he's an artist too, so he understands what everyone wants to do, and we understand what he wants to do.
The label is there for basically for experimentation, like musical experimentation and graphic experimentation. It's working, so that's nice. The label's a nice thing.
How'd you get involved with Frank Kozik and Man's Ruin?
Just kind of approached us, and he seems like a really cool guy, dude. And I was just, he offered us like a really cool thing, and you know, it was just a one-off, and I don't know, it's a pretty fair one-off though, you know, and we're just trying to do shit ourselves. Yeah.
You're gonna do your next
Yeah, and he's
do the next one with him?
I believe so. You know, we'll see what happens. I try not to. What are you gonna do?
Let's have an interview with Dale here.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
We're recording a new
What,
record.
what motor do you have in your Challenger, bro?
440.
Really?
Slay with a
Got big block in
slapstick?
your fucking Challenger, huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
With a 4-barrel?
Yeah, it needs some work though.
see? That's what rock stars drive is Challengers, dude. That's
Yeah,
the only
rock
car.
stars
What kind of car do you drive?
I drive a Cougar, 1972 Cougar, and it's getting a 351 Cleveland put in it right now.
Oh, I got a Dodge van with 400,000 miles on it. I have a piece of shit brown van. I have a boogie van. I got a 1970 Mustang sitting in the backyard.
What do you guys drive?
I have a 57 Willys Jeep and a 1949 Harley Davidson.
Yeah, George is a rock star.
And you?
1976 Aspen wagon cost me $150. I'm doing my best to like slay it, and I'm sure everybody else in all the bands that are doing that are doing their best to fucking punish, you know, and that's what it's all about. It's just trying your hardest to fucking batter as many people and do the best you can, and you know, there's always just fucked up withered times that nothing goes right for you or whatever, but if you keep at it, you get more skilled and you get better and better, and everybody should just do that.
Be in a band, do what you want to do, play the music you want to play, just because you want to play it, and that's all there is to it.
Damn straight.
Like a lot of bands, and us definitely included, are like really, you know, focused on like the, you know, like 70s, like mid 70s, like, you know, a lot of the musical ideas that were happening then, because that was a really, really awesome time for music, and just like tons of I mean, I don't know, like
ZZ
early
Top.
ZZ Top, yeah, fucking Mahavishnu Orchestra,
Yeah.
Just Deep Purple, I mean, you know.
Mountain.
Yeah, and, like tons of bands. And like there's all kinds of like, you know, Miles Davis and
He was doing some tight shit.
yeah, and just like all these like, you know, like fusion stuff, all the stuff that was going on with that.
Rocky Erickson, you know, like people that just play whatever they want to play and it don't matter. You know, people like Greg Anderson, you know, like those are huge.
Dude, Rocky Erickson.
It's all about Rocky. 13-foot elevators.
It's all about the bar chords, you see. The bar chords and the blues scale. It's like geometric shapes you're kind of putting together.
Just like Sabbath, Iron Maiden, God, just all Motorhead, you know, just all the bands that like I grew up on that I fucking got into. That's where I learned how to play guitar, like Slayer, like, you know, just metal bands that I was growing up on, you know, a little bit of hardcore. I have different influences like John McLaughlin, Hendrix. I take things from guitar players, and then I take things from bands, and then I take things, and I learned all this stuff. And if you know someone else's music, you start learning how to write your own, you know, and then just fucking mold the riff, you know. I hide in my garage, get wasted by myself and mold all these riffs, and then go to my drummer and say, drummer, there you are. I have a new riff for you. And then we play that riff, and I go to my bass player, and my bass player, he plays the bass line. It happens like that. And then I just start thinking of lyrics. And it's like that, like anybody does or something.
When we first started, we kind of came together with a mutual interest and passion for Black Sabbath and
punk rock,
and punk rock, hardcore even. But sort of, you know, Greg Gee and I, when we first started, it was sort of, we were really into stuff like Mountain, Captain Beyond, Sir Baltimore, early ZZ Top, Sabbath, shit like that.
About the first record I bought was Sabbath record and Pink Floyd, and, you know, Zeppelin and Skinner. Allman Brothers always been one of my favorite bands.
basically, when I started Man's Ruin, I wanted to put out a lot of stuff that I liked, you know what I mean? And it was like, you know what I mean? It's
But
like,
I ended up not putting out a lot of stuff I liked.
that's why I put out a lot of stuff I didn't like.